Let's review the lunge. We'll show you how to perform them, a few variations, and why they're important to have included in your training program. Let's start with the basics. There are a few important positions that the body needs to be when we're in the lunge position. So whether we're doing a step back lunge, a step forward lunge, or performing a walking lunge, a series of forward stepping lunges, here's some things that we need to see mechanically for them to be safe for us to perform. So no matter what lunge we're doing, when we're in the low position, what I'd like to see is the knee about 2 inches from the ground. I'd like to see the knee, this angle and all major angles, close to 90 degrees. It's not that important that some people coach as the knee needs to be over the heel. It's okay if it's tracking forward a bit, but there is a point when it's way too far forward, our weight is shifted to our toes on the front of the foot, and we don't need that much dorsiflexion. So I'd rather see the body centered. I'd also like to see the knee not too far from being behind the hip, it's almost underneath the hip. What I'd really like to see is the shoulders pretty much above the hip. So I'm in this nice tall position when I'm performing that. So I step back, sink in, drive through. Now while we perform the lunge, there are points of contact with both legs. Usually we classify the lunge as a single leg movement. So some things we want to think about, and it's that front leg that we're really training. So that when I step back into my lunge, it's this front leg, and I'm trying to make a connection between driving this front heel, the weight should be mid-foot, a little towards the back, and the glute on that side to stand me up. I don't want to get into the habit of propelling with my back foot too much. What we also need to see with the lunge is good stability, and the lunge can test your stability. So rather than the squat when the feet are next to each other, when we go into that lunge, okay, oftentimes we do see people kind of lack that lateral stability and need to lean to the side or even have to put their foot down again and get their balance. And it's a good test of that. So if we don't have that stability to do a body weight lunge, we definitely don't want to progress the movement with some of these other variations we're going to go over. Now because of that, I love the lunge in training programs, especially those that do a lot of bilateral training. So your powerlifters, weightlifters, even CrossFitters, where the majority of their sport or the majority of their workouts, they're using both legs at the same time in say a clean, a deadlift, a squat of course, because when we do that, the body is so good at compensating for imbalances that we may just be strengthening an imbalance. And sometimes when we do these single leg movements like the lunge, those imbalances scream and they're glaring. And that's one thing we want to shore up so that we don't train ourselves into an injury. And because the lunge can be locomotive, you're carrying your entire body, they're a great strengthening exercise and they can be quite metabolic. So they're included in almost all my training programs for anybody who really has the stability and the strength to be able to perform them, from athletes to someone who's just an everyday gym goer looking to try and get stronger.